This is the second part of a Level 2 Functional Skills Maths paper from Edexcel. In this part you can use a calculator and there is a total of 48 marks for this part. To all questions, write your answers in the spaces provided. Question 1. Luke plays a computer game where he manages a city. He buys 2 buildings. Luke receives 135 coins every 8 hours from building A, 36 coins every 15 minutes from building B. Luke thinks he receives a total of 4,000 coins in 24 hours from these buildings. Is Luke correct? Show why you think this. Okay, so let's look at building A. It says 135 coins every 8 hours. Now we're looking at 24 hours, so to get from 8 to 24 we multiply by 3, so we're going to do the same to 135. 405 coins for 24 hours. Now for building B we've got 36 coins for every 15 minutes. Now we're going to work out for 24 hours. So we can either convert the 15 minutes to hours, which would be 0.25, and I think that would be the best thing in this case. But we could also convert the 24 hours into minutes and put them down here and do the minutes. Well, I'm going to go for the first one. So I'm going to make this 0.25 because it's quarter an hour, 15 minutes. So we're going to get this now to hours. And there we go. From 0.25 to 24, what do we multiply by? And we can work it out by dividing 24 by 0.25. And that is 96. So we're going to do the same over here. 3, 4, 5, 6. In total, that's going to be 3,456. Add 405 gives us 3,861. So that is less than 4,000. So is Luke correct? No, he's not. So I'm going to say no. He makes 3,861 coins. The scatter diagram shows information about the age and height of some trees. Describe the relationship shown in the diagram. As you can see, the higher the age, the higher the height of the tree. So this is a positive correlation. Positive correlation between the age and the height of a tree. Draw a line of best fit on the diagram. So we're trying for equal distance between the line and the dots both sides. And it doesn't need to be perfect. Just gives us an idea. Part C, estimate the age of a tree with a height of 625 centimeters. So 625, 700 would be here, 650 here, so somewhere there. So we're going to go down to the x-axis, and that gives us 22. 22 years. The tree diagram shows the probability of selecting a car owner by the age and the type of car they have. A person is chosen at random. Work out the probability that this person is under 30 and has an electric car. So, looking at the tree diagram, first of all, we've got under 30. Probability is 0.3, so this must be 0.7 because they both add up to 1. And the same thing is going to happen here. We've got 0.15, so we're going to put 0.85 so that they add up to 1 as well. So we're looking now at the probability of person being under 30, so going through this route, and drives or owns an electric car. So these are the two probabilities we're focusing on. As we are going across the probability tree, we're going to multiply these two. So 0.3 times 0.4. Which gives us 0.12. Sasha is the manager at a factory. Last weekend, 15 employees assembled 390 identical wardrobes. Sasha wants 1,200 of these wardrobes to be assembled next weekend. How many employees does Sasha need next weekend? You must show you're working. So let's write the ratio first. 15 employees, 390 wardrobes, and she wants 1,200 of them to be assembled. So how many employees? Okay, so how many 390s fit into 1,200? You can use a calculator to do this. So you go 1,200 divided by 390, and that gives us 40 over 13. It can give you a decimal as well, but it's a recurring decimal. So let's just keep it like that in the calculator. Whatever answer you get, don't round it off because it's going to impact your next answer. So we're multiplying by 40 over 13 to get 1,200. We're going to do the same with 15. So whatever answer you have in your calculator, just multiply that by 15. And that gives us recurring decimal, which is 46.153 and so on. Now, of course, you can't have part of an employee, so you're going to have to round this up, always up. So that's going to go to 47. Vera is a shop manager. She has this information about the income in her shop for 8 weeks this year. The median income for the same 8 weeks last year was £49,300. Vera knows that the median income for these 8 weeks has decreased this year compared to last year. Work out the percentage decrease of the median income. Give your answer to 2 decimal places. So what is the median? We're going to put them in order and find the middle value. I'm going to order them from the smallest to the largest, but it doesn't really matter which way you go. So 19.4, and then we've got 39.8, and then we've got 42.3, then we've got 42.5, then we have 45.1, then 47.9, then 52.4, then 53.5. Gonna cross them out, one on each side. We have 2 numbers in the middle, so we're going to find the midpoint. So 42.5, add 45.1, and then divide this by 2. And this gives us 43.8. So that's the median. That is thousands of pounds. So this is going to be £43,800. In the previous year, that was 49,300. So we're going to work out the difference. £5,500. So that's the difference, 5,500 out of the original value, always out of the original value, which was 49,300. That is when you work out a percentage change. So we're going to go 5,500 divided by 49,300, and that gives us 0.1156186661. So in terms of a percentage, I'm going to write it to 2 decimal places. So 11.16%, the decrease. Show a check of your calculation for the median. So we're going to have to go back. You only need to show one step in here, not every single step. So if I just focus on the last one, I'm going to do 43 add 45 divided by 2, which is going to give us 44, which is what this is rounded to as well, to the nearest whole number. Carlos invests £4,500 for 3 years. He receives compound interest of 1.5% per year. Carlos thinks the total of the money he invests and the interest will be more than 4,750 at the end of the 3 years. Is he correct? Show why you think this. So 4,500 is the invested amount, or the original amount. Now that's been invested or will be invested for 3 years, and interest is at 1.5%. Now there are different ways you can work this out. We're going to use the multiplier method. So we're going to multiply this by 1.5 1.015. What does the 1 stand for? The 1 is the 100% amount. So if I multiply 4,500 by 1, it's just going to give me 4,500, the money I invested in the first place. So in other words, we are getting the total amount immediately. So we multiply by 1, but also the 1.5%, because as a decimal, 1.5% is 0.015. So I'm just adding a 1 to that, which is a whole amount. So in the end, I get the interest as well as the original amount. So 1.015. And I would have to repeat this process 3 times to get the answer for the 3 years. But instead, I'm just going to do it power of 3, because at this level you expect it to be able to do that. So I'm just going to plug this into the calculator, and it's giving me 4,705.55268. So in terms of money, that's going to be £4,705.55. And how does that compare with the 4,750? So that is lower, actually. So is it correct? No, it's not. So no, it's £4,705.55. Write 21.9% as a decimal. We know that percent means out of 100, so we can do 21.9 out of 100, or divided by 100, and it gives us 0.219. Work out 37% of 4,618.57. Give your answer to 1 decimal place. So 37%, 37 out of 100 of 4,618.57. If we input this into the calculator, we get 1,708.8709. So we're going to round it to 1 decimal place. That means we're going to round up, so this becomes 1708.9. Write 51,049,000. So we know there would be 6 more digits, so 49,000. There is no 100,000. 112. Jessie needs to cover a wooden floor with varnish. The floor is in the shape of a rectangle and a quarter circle. A tin of varnish covers 6 squared meters and costs £5.41. Jessie has £25 to buy the tins of varnish she needs to cover this wooden floor. Is £25 enough to buy all the tins of varnish Jessie needs? So let's have a look at the area of this shape. So we've got the rectangle, which we can easily work out the area of by multiplying 5.3 by 2.6, the 2 dimensions, and that gives us 13.78. Now working out the area of the quarter of the circle. The radius is either this or this length, which would be equal. So that is 2.6. We know that through this. Or we could do 7.9, take away 5.3. So we know that we work out the area of a circle through this formula, which is pi r squared. Now that's going to be a quarter of pi r squared. So we're going to divide it by 4 or multiply it by 1/4, give us the same answer. So we haven't been given a specific value for pi, so I'm just going to plug that into the calculator. So use the pi symbol in the scientific calculator, but you could do with 3.142, just multiply it by that. So pi times 2.6 squared, all divided by 4, and that gives me 5.309291,585, and I need to add to that 13.78, which was the area of the rectangle. I'm going to round it to decimal places now. There's 13.78, and that gives us 19.09 square meters. So one tin covers 6 square meters, so we're going to divide our total by that. So 19.09 divided by 6 gives us 3.18 to 2 decimal places. So that is the number of tins, but you can't really buy part of a tin, so we're going to have to round up again. So this will become 4 tins, and 1 tin costs £5.41. So 4 times 5.41 gives us £21.64. Here is a coordinate grid. Write down the coordinates of point A. Okay, so we'll start with the x-axis, so that is 0.5, and then -3. So I'll write 5, -3. Plot point B with coordinates -4, 6. So -4 on the x-axis and going up to 6. Well, at this point, I'll label it as B. Plot point C on the grid so that angle ACB is a right angle. Remember to label your point. So C will be in the middle and will be 90 degrees. Well, I think the dots that I made earlier might help me with this. So I could have point C here, and that would be 90 degrees. But I could have point C over here as well. I'm going to keep it where I have it. So I've plotted the points. I don't need to draw the triangle because I haven't been asked to. Kevin buys a second-hand car for £7,346. He knows that the car is worth 27% less than when it was brand new. Kevin thinks that the car cost more than £9,000 when brand new. Is Kevin correct? Show why you think this. I'm going to try and represent with this bar 100% of the total amount. That was when it was brand new. So 100%. Now it has, and we don't know that value. We don't know what the 100% value was. We know though that it's gone down by 27% in value. So maybe around here. And so this amount now, which is 27% less, and that is 73%, that is equal to £7,346. We know that. So what we need to work out is the 100% value. As I know that £7,346 is equal to 73%, I can work out what is 1% of this. So I'm going to go 7,346 divided by 73 to get just 1%. And that gives me 100.63036 and so on. Now that is just 1%. I want 100%. So I'm going to multiply this by 100. So 100.6301. I'm going to stop there, times 100. That would give us so that would be £10,063.01. So is Kevin correct in thinking that it would have cost more than 9,000? Yes. Emma is the recruitment manager in a large company. She has this information about the number of workers in each of the 20 offices of the company. Emma estimates the mean number of workers in an office as 30. Is Emma correct? Show why you think this. So we estimate in the mean and we find in the midpoints first. So 1 to 20, the midpoint is going to be 10.5 there. And we're going to multiply it by 9. Midpoint between 21 and 40 is going to be 30.5 times 8 then. And here we've got 50.5 times 2 and then 70.5 times 1. So 510 divided by the 20, that gives us 25.5. So Emma is not correct. "200 people apply to work at a new office. 49 of these people are employed. Work out 49 as a percentage of 200. So 49 out of 200. So we know that the fraction line means division. So plugging that into the calculator gives us 0.245. So that, if we want to convert it to a percentage, we just multiply by 100. So we get 24.5%. Claire is a designer. She needs to put some lights around the circular bandstand in a park. Claire has this scale diagram of the plan view of the bandstand. So the diameter is 4.5 centimeters, and we've got a scale of 1 to 200. Claire knows that a set of lights is 4.75 meters in length. Each set of lights costs £27.99. Work out the total cost of the set of lights Claire needs. First step is to use a scale to work out the diameter on the ground. So that is 4.5. So we multiplied by 4.5 to get 4.5. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So 200 times 4.5, that gives us 900 centimeters. So we can convert that into meters now. We know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So 900 centimeters will be equal to 9 meters. So that's the diameter. We've got to work out the circumference of the circle. We know that the circumference is 2 pi r, or pi lots of the diameter. So the diameter we know is equal to 9 meters, and we know that pi is 3.142, or we could just use the pi function in the calculator, the scientific calculator. Feel free to use whichever. I'm going to use that one. So pi times 9 gives me 28.2743338. So how many sets are there needed? If we just use that number we've just had in the calculator, and divide it by 4.75, and that gives me a decimal 5.9524, and so on. So of course we can't buy parts of a set of lights, so we're going to buy 6 of them, 6 sets, and the cost is £27.99 each, and that is £167.94. Here is a plan view of another building Claire designs. An apprentice draws the front elevation of this building. Which sketch below can be the front elevation of this building? Tick the correct answer. So we're going to have a look at them in turn. Looking at this first one, no, it can't be, because as we can see, we've got a split here, and that is not the case. So that is not option 1. Looking at option 2, same thing, we haven't got a split there, and it does look like option 3, because that's gonna show as a split in the plan view, and that's definitely not number 4. So we're going for option 3, and this is the end of the paper.